Currently, if you guys notice, I've changed the slide. I just need you guys to, these questions are important. Stay with me if you answer yes to these questions. And I guess my first question is pretty much very straightforward. Is your business bad and you need to generate revenue quickly? Actually, that, pretty much goes without saying. That, if your business is bad, I mean, most people wouldn't spend time going through training to try to develop or generate revenue if business was, very good. And then I guess the second question that I would like to ask you is, do many people owe you payments, but you're not sure how to collect them? So if your answer is yes to this question, of course, I would like for you to stay with me. Also, do people promise to pay, but payments never come in? A lot of times people will say, okay, I'll pay you tomorrow, I'll pay you next week. But then next week comes, tomorrow comes, but the payments are not there. That's because it's about empty promises. So if you are in this situation, if you are getting empty promises from your customers, then stay with me. We will be talking about this in this webinar. And also, are you worried that if you don't collect your payments, your business will be in serious trouble soon? I have spoken to a lot of my clients over the last month and a half, and a lot of them are pretty much saying this to me, that if the collections are not that strong, they do have a risk of going belly up. Belly up pretty much means that, business going down the drain. And also, are you not sure whether you understand what drives a defaulter to pay? In other words, what would motivate somebody who's telling you that they don't have money to pay? What would motivate them to pay? If you don't know the answer to that, I suggest you stay with me for the next few minutes. Also, the next question that I will have is, hang on, would you like to learn how to convince these people to pay? In other words, do you feel that you lack those communication skills? The skills that are required, are you able to learn to use your tone of voice? Are you able to use the speed with which you talk? Are you able to use the right words, the right phrases, the things to say, the questions to ask? If you're not able to do that, or if you feel you need some help with that, I suggest you stay with me so that we can go ahead and address all of these issues. And like I mentioned, with this 45 minutes that we have left, it will probably end up being a good awareness session for you and a little bit of knowledge transfer so that you can feel the value. All right, moving on. First, we want to talk about what skills and capabilities we need in order to be, world-class in our debt collection environment. So I am now going to look at my chat screen. If there is anyone who can tell me what skill, in your opinion, we require in order to be successful in our debt collection through the phone. Can anybody respond through chat here? If there is any answer, anybody can tell me in your opinion, because I will be showing you a few skills, but can anybody tell me what skill in your opinion we need? Okay. Ki Lun Su said, yes, perseverance. Muhammad Shafez, negotiation skills, persuasiveness. So basically, what we are looking for is to learn how to convince them, how to persuade them. So that's fine. All right. Politeness. Yes, absolutely. I see that. Speaking skill. Hazri Ikram said speaking skills. Sue Lee said voice tone. Yes, these are the key aspects. I'm glad we are all on the same page. This is wonderful. All right, you guys can go ahead and hold your comments now, and let's see if we can move forward a little bit. According to, during my training, I will normally talk about skills which are quite, key, quite integral skills that we require to be successful here. What we need to understand is the elements of successful telephone communication, and of course, improve skills in this area. Okay, Natalie Chang has said how to handle talk to those with bad paymaster during your MCO. Yes, absolutely. Okay, the telephone communication skills are the key. or in anything, not only debt collection, also in telephone sales, we need to have those communication skills. Then we also need to structure our collection call more effectively. We need to prepare. We need to have a plan. We cannot just simply pick up the phone and try to think of what to say to them. Not in the beginning of the call. We need to have a plan. We need to have a strategy. We actually need to know the flow. It's a debt collection call flow. We need to understand that flow, because once we know the flow, at least we know what we're going to do next, and then next, and then and next during that phone call. So we need to understand the structure of the collection call. Also, asking questions and then listening. We need to have some serious expertise in that. It's not just asking questions, it's actually asking the right questions at the right time. To give you an example, if I meet a girl for the first time, I cannot say, will you marry me? I will be asking her questions like, what is your favorite music, or what's your favorite restaurant? I'd be asking questions that are less harmful, or shall we say harmless questions. So we need to know what questions to ask during which situation. So, and at the same time, about listening, everybody's got ears. We all have eardrums. We all can listen. But this listening that I'm talking about is about listening to understand what the customer's situation is, because we've asked them the right questions. So now they are giving us the right answers. So we need to listen to understand. We cannot, while they are talking, we cannot listen to reply. In other words, we should not create our answers in our mind while they are talking. We need to listen and assimilate, understand everything they are saying, only then respond according to our complete understanding. Also, we need to identify the customer's real situation and match our offerings accordingly. Like if a customer has the money, we are not going to give them a 50% off, pay 50% now and pay the other next month. We won't do that. Our offer will be according to the answers to our questions. And when they say the times are tough and really they've got some other bill that they have to pay, that we will have to understand. And then tailor our offer accordingly. Maybe they can pay a portion first and so on. So we need to understand the customer's situation. This actually has to do with the concept of empathy, putting ourselves in people's shoes, understanding their perspective. We also have to sharpen our assertiveness skills. Can anybody, I'm opening up the chat again. If you can tell me what your understanding is of the word assertive. Can somebody tell me what assertive really is? I'm looking for answers, waiting for some answers in the chat window. Does anybody have an idea of what assertiveness means? And if you are not sure, it's okay. I'll wait another few seconds and I'll just go ahead and explain it myself. Not a big deal. All right. Okay. This is just like, okay, it says, what is assertive? Being firm and consistent. Okay. Not being Mr. Sukhbir Singh. Absolutely. Being firm. Being firm. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close the chat window for now. Not arrogant. Very good. Forcefully. Okay. Forcefully might be a little bit aggressive. However, we go one step below forceful, and that's where we are in the domain of assertiveness. Confident. Yes, of course. When I'm looking at all of these answers. I'm glad you guys have started pouring in with the answers. Let the customer know our bottom line and target outcome. Yes, we want to make sure our customers understand the seriousness of the issue. Chenny Chung says showing confidence. Absolutely. All right. Now I'll go ahead and continue. Basically, this assertiveness is actually the middle ground between aggressiveness and submissiveness. Aggressive is almost to the point of being angry. Submissiveness is where, just like a secretary talking to her boss, whatever the boss says, she'll say yes. Very submissive. We also like to say that submissive people are like red carpet. You can walk all over them. So we don't want to be submissive. We want to make sure we are assertive. We use our voice in such a way that it shows to them that we serious. We want to solve problems. We want to help them. We want to let them know that this needs to happen. And that's where the flow, the feeling of assertiveness will come in. Like if I was to tell my secretary, ask my secretary to type a letter for me, so I cannot say in a submissive manner, hey, if you can kindly please type this letter for me. I won't do that. That's too submissive. And also I won't be very aggressive. I won't say, hey, type this letter by 3 p.m. I need it. I won't do that either. So to be assertive with her, I will say, I need you to please type this letter by 3 p.m. Thank you. So that would be an assertive way of saying it. So that secretary knows that I am serious about the letter, I have a deadline and it needs to happen. And she also will know that I'm not being rude or aggressive with her. Okay, and then of course we move on to the next skill, which is the biggest one. And this is what we were talking about before the webinar began, handling excuses for non-payment. Actually, when I conduct my full training session on debt collection, we list all the excuses that you normally see or normally go through when you are trying to collect debt. We list them down on a whiteboard. Once we list all of them down on a whiteboard, we go into group activity. And in the group activity, together in the classroom, we develop responses. We call that rebuttals, responses to those excuses. So let's say MCO problem, so I'm stuck at home, I cannot pay you. So during the full training session, we will be talking about various options of responses, and then we will finally come up with the last one, the best one that we will say to our customers. So when we make the phone call, we can expect them to say MCO, lockdown, I cannot pay, no money coming in. We will expect them to say that. So when we expect them to say that, we will already have 2 or 3 different responses already ready, written down or typed up somewhere, so that we just immediately respond with the right answers. So that's where be prepared to handle excuses. These excuses are the biggest killer of any kind of debt collection environment. Then, of course, like I said, we're looking at the heading again, the required skills and capabilities to collect debt using the phone. So being prepared with the rebuttals or responses to excuses is one of the most important skills that you can master. Be prepared, have things written down. When we conduct the full training session, in that training session, the most important deliverable for you, the thing that I help you develop during the training session, is the dialogue. It's the script. It's what you would say according to all the excuses, how you would start the phone call, what you would say in the beginning of the phone call so that they want to stay on the phone with you. Then how we would create pictures in their minds so that they can imagine, going through hard times. They can imagine how they would feel when they are debt free and so on. Now, the next one I just opened up is about empathy. As a debt collector, we need to have a very strong sense of empathy. If somebody says, no money come in, I must not look at it as something that he has said, which he's trying to get rid of me. What I need to ask myself is, when somebody doesn't have any money coming in, how do they feel? I need to understand that feeling, because when I understand that feeling, only then I can ask them questions that are empathic. Empathic is a word that comes from empathy. If I understand their perspective, if I understand their situation, only then I can ask them empathic questions. I can tell them empathic statements. I can let them know that I understand that situation, and at the same time, in an assertive manner, I would still talk about solutions, how to help them come up with a certain type of payment or a certain amount of payment that will help them maintain their account with us. We also need to have a plan against empty promises. Like if the customer right in the beginning of the call, you said, this is your amount due and this is the second month in arrears, second month overdue. And while you are saying all that, the customer immediately jumps in and says, it's okay, I'll pay next week. So when they say that, 9 out of 10, approximately 90% of the time, it's an empty promise. They are lying to us. They're not going to pay. because they haven't really received, we haven't really told them any logic. We haven't created any kind of pictures in their mind to really convince them to make that actual payment. When I have a really bad habit of not paying my car payment on time. So I receive a lot of these guys, phone calls. So I just tell them, hey, I buy a, bulan, minggu depan. So when I say I buy a minggu depan, they just simply hang up the phone. So, whether I have the intention to pay or not, they didn't really confirm. So one of the most important things that we will go through a little bit in this webinar and in a lot of detail in our full session is to have that plan against empty promises. Then we also, one skill which is definitely a capability that is required is we need to use our words, our voice in such a way that it creates pictures in people's minds. What I mean by that is that there is actually a difference between telling somebody you owe me $50. And so when you say you owe me $50, I want my money back, they are picturing in their mind taking out $50 out of their pocket and giving to you. To them, that is not a very pretty picture. That is not a desirable picture for them. The picture we need to create in their mind is of them having peace of mind when they are debt-free. The picture they need to have in their mind is the pain. They need, through our words and questions, they need to relive the pain of having debt and debt collectors calling them all the time. So when we are able to create those worrisome, concerning pictures in their mind, and at the same time creating those positive, relaxing, peace of mind, happy pictures in their mind when they are debt-free, then they feel a little bit of motivation that, oh yeah, that's, it would feel really great if, when I'm debt free, or, oh my God, yeah, I'm really going through some serious tough time. All these debt collectors are calling me. Maybe I need to figure out a solution on how to get everybody paid off. So these skills are pretty much the key. We were just mentioning about creating pictures in people's minds. And if you look at this person in the middle here with the question marks, now this is the person who owes you money. In order to create pictures in their minds, we need to figure out what to say to them according to our own industry. Like if I'm a bank and I'm asking for my credit card payment, what should I say? So that this person can have a few pictures in their mind as to really put themselves in that situation where they're feeling the pain. What words am I going to say? What am I going to say? How to create these pictures? So now let's imagine that we look at the first picture. With our words and phrases, we are going to be able to help them picture the fact that they are in trouble because they need to pay off some people. And if you look at the picture in the middle, top middle, we also want to create this picture in this person's mind so that they want to, need a solution. They want to need the solution. They need to realize that, it is not a small matter. They are actually stuck in debt. When we create this kind of picture in their mind, we are giving them the carrot and stick approach. So we're giving them the stick approach, but not really being aggressive when we do this. We ask them very soft, very strategic questions to get them to picture this in their mind so that they want to, they need to say to themselves, I need a solution. Then another way of creating pictures in their mind is to get them to picture that they are debt free. You look at this guy, he's debt-free, he's jumping up, and all you can see is his teeth, he's so happy. We want to create that picture in this person's mind that, if you were to listen to the solution I'm about to offer, if you were to, cooperate a little bit, you will be well on your way to being debt-free. And, being debt-free basically means, there is no more hassle of collectors calling you. And of course, when we are debt-free, all the banks want to finance us again. They want to, give us credit cards. They want to give us housing loans, car loans. So all of those facilities are only for people who are debt free. And of course, one of the biggest things is, people who are receiving salaries every month. And the moment they receive the salary, a day after that, people start calling them to collect debt. So if they don't owe any money to people, they get to keep all of their money in their pocket. So all of these positive and a little bit of worrisome pictures, this is the way we like to communicate during a debt collection call. I also show people the same thing when we go into telesales calls, because a lot of you probably also want to also learn later how to sell your products over the phone. So we create similar images, not same images, but similar images in their mind to get them to want our product, to get them to feel the pain without our product. So it's pretty much the same thing in both the areas, telesales and debt collection. Now, another picture that we also want to create in these people's minds, and this picture is mostly for the toughies, those people who are 3 months overdue. Some people are reaching the 4th month before you actually send them a court order. So we want to, try a last ditch effort, and we haven't given them any idea, any information about the court orders. So we will then, at that point, at such a tough situation, we would also want to create this picture in their mind. And this picture, bottom left-hand corner, you can see legal action, appear in court. So now you can imagine this person hasn't paid us for about 3 months. And we've been nice all this time. We've sent them tons of emails. We've created these other pictures in their mind about, yeah, it would be nice for you to get debt free, and you are in pain. All of that, we've done all of that, but they are very tough. They are still not paying, and it's already time where in another 1 or 2 weeks, and you will probably be sending them a legal letter. So before you do that, as a last ditch effort, we try to create pictures of them receiving legal letters. We also say certain things or ask certain questions that will help them picture themselves walking into court or appearing in front of a judge. So these pictures are negative pictures, and we try not to get into this kind of pictures if we are only talking to people who are only about 1 month overdue. But yes, when we move on to 3 months, 4 months, then the legal action type of pictures we need to create in their minds. It is very important to do that. So ultimately, guys, it's about communication skills. It's about asking the right questions. It's about developing in a pre-planning phase, about developing the right questions, the right words and phrases, using our voice in such a way that we create excitement, we create happiness, we create worry, we create concern. So these words and phrases, when we do our full session, we will actually be developing the dialogue, the script. So while I'm talking in that session, I will be waiting a couple of minutes for you guys to write down or type out somewhere. Then we move on to the next thing to say. So over a couple of hours, we will have a complete deliverable for you, which means an actual script. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and open this chat window again, because I'd like to hear some of your comments in terms of what is your opinion, that if would it be, in your opinion, because I've been doing it for 25 years and it has worked, and we have increased a lot of people's collections using this. However, I would like to know how you feel about developing these pictures in people's minds, or how confident you feel. Can we have some answers from you guys? I can give you about a minute or so for the answers. Amir, can you give me some cold water? Thank you. How confident? Yeah, okay. Okay, it seems that nobody has responded yet in terms of your opinion or how you feel about creating pictures in people's minds. Ultimately, what I can say is that, like I mentioned earlier, there are 2 ways to do this. One way is to call them and tell them they owe us money and they need to pay, or this will happen and that will happen. Another way is to convince them, persuade them, give them a motive, motivate them to make the payment. So in order to motivate them, in order to get them to feel in their own heart, in their mind, that they should pay, we actually need to create some positive and some concerning or worrisome pictures in their minds. All right. Okay, I'll go ahead and move forward. We'll be discussing the same concept. Okay, been trying this motivation but ain't easy. Absolutely. WLTHAM at lenminsteel.com. I'm sorry, I don't have your name here, but yeah, you've been trying this motivation, but it's not easy. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. This is a skill, it's a capability that we need to develop. And I'm your man. I will help you develop it. I have done it over the last 20 odd years, improving our training in such a way that we've helped people do that. And you know, it's another solution is that yes, it's not easy when we are trying to ad lib without any preparation. But if we have written out material that we have practiced many times before we actually made the phone call, then this motivation stuff becomes easy because you would have the right things to say already. Of course, I would be helping you develop those right things to say. SST has said, especially those stubborn customers. Yes, absolutely. The stubborn ones, and the stubborn ones are the ones for whom we go into creating those the concerning images. You know, if a child doesn't listen to me when I say you should study, if I try to give him chocolate, he still doesn't study, then I will have to tell him that, hey, if you don't study, you know, there is a spanking coming up. So then the child runs and gets the book and starts studying. So these are different types of pictures we will create in their minds to motivate them. They take so many, Bard Muhammad said, they take advantage of us. Well, you know, a lot of people right now are taking advantage of the fact that there's a lockdown. So this is to them, it's a very solid reason that they're giving us why they cannot pay. It's very well understood. Everyone, just give me just a moment. Okay. Depend on some client, got some understand, some will not accept. Natalie Chang. Yes. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, that we are actually, through the training, we are increasing our percentage of collections. Not everybody that we call is going to pay on time. We look at our previous numbers, previous percentages of collection, and then after learning these new skills and capabilities, then we look at our numbers again, and we will find, just like most of my clients have found in the past, that the percentage of collections is increased. You mentioned that we just submit their name to CTOS. Well, submitting their name to CTOS, yes, definitely it's a last final effort. But what we are trying to show you is to try to get them to pay before it reaches that point. So yes, absolutely. This is definitely the Azma Basri. Yes, the final step ends up being that, submitting them to CTOS. Just give you guys another minute. Some customers will scold us back. Yes, they will. They will scold us back. We just need to be very positive, very assertive in our communication. We also need to be prepared before the phone call. We need to have statements written down that in case somebody gets angry, what am I going to say? Like if I'm not prepared to handle somebody who's angry, then of course I will stumble during my conversation. Now, Chenny Chong says, yes, a lot of tenants take advantage. We are actually giving rental rebate to our tenant, but they're still asking to waive service charge. Well, they will try to get you to waive everything nowadays. However, once again, with all of these skills and capabilities that we will develop, we will be able to overcome a lot of that and increase our percentage of collections. Charge them interest for overdue payment, and it does. Okay, I've got a lot of comments coming, and I will have to become a very speed reader. I have sent letter of demand to customers and mentioned but customer asked no response. And then SST, how about those installment payment customers? Keep dragging the payment when the time to pay. Isma Zaini says they will give too many excuses and bad story. Well, guys, you guys are basically saying pretty much that these are all we can consider them reasons not to pay, or we can look at them as excuses. So it's both ways. And when I train you guys in the full session, we will actually have our plan prepared, ready to go with actual dialogue. Winnie Chow says, customer don't want answer call after promise to pay. Yes, this is very normal in any kind of debt collection situation. So when you dial the number a few times, no answer, you send them a WhatsApp, and whatever I have, I'm going, because in the beginning of this webinar, I had promised that I would send a paragraph to those people who want to send out emails to ask the customer to call them back, and how to word or that email so that people want to call back. So we can, the text that I will send can also be used in the WhatsApp message. So you dial a few times, no answer, you send them this WhatsApp so that they know that you are not some guy with, with a gun waiting for them. You're actually somebody with a solution to the debt problem waiting for them. Okay, Natalie Chang says, I do send out statements, follow-up email, call, and WhatsApp. What are the solution to advise, please? Well, basically, the other thing left is the phone call. So sending out statements, follow-up emails, these are the ways to do it. The question is, how are you doing it? What are you actually saying in those follow-up emails or WhatsApp? So after I send that paragraph and you use that paragraph, and they still don't respond in a positive manner, then you can send us an email and I will give you further instructions. Okay, all right, folks, is this method scalable as we are in construction industry where customers are hardcore and debt amount is huge? Yes, absolutely. Ki Lun Su, absolutely, it is scalable. We have trained organizations, like courier services, companies like CityLink. Oh, by the way, I may not have mentioned to you guys that the companies that I have trained, because this will answer your question also. Companies like Google, Alibaba, EPF, PKNS, CityLink Courier, Maxis, Hong Leong, Affin Bank, Post Laju. These are companies, and of course I've forgotten some of the other names. These are companies that have large clients. Like you can imagine, Maxis, they would have company lines. So they may have an account of 1,000 people in a group that they just simply have one bill that they send to the finance department. So yes, Norman Yap. Some debtors said bank is giving moratorium. Why not us as my creditors giving me some time to pay? Well, once again, banks are large organizations. Banks are able to sustain themselves. However, SMEs still need the revenue. Even, I was reading an article yesterday where I found out that a lot of SMEs are actually running out of cash now. So banks are not running out of cash. Banks are cash rich. They have your money there. So, so having said that, we try not to worry too much about this kind of statements, but we just continue our communication and create pictures in these people's minds. Okay, Aaron Tan says, customer threatening if we insist for payment during MCO. They may stop buying from us post MCO. Well, once again, when somebody says, I will stop buying from you, you convert yourself from being a debt collector to a salesperson, because you also need to understand the benefits of your product, your service, dealing with your company. So if customer threatens, you can continue to talk to them and create pictures in their mind about the benefits that they are currently enjoying being with you. So once again, okay, they also say stop their order for temporary and send legal letters. Yeah, well, this is something that can be done, Mr. Bud Mohammed. However, we need to softly discuss this with them first. Okay, folks, we need to continue because we don't have too much time left in our webinar. So let's go ahead and talk about additional skills and capabilities. Now, about this creating pictures in their minds, if you notice, I've changed the slide. So very quickly, I will run through this particular slide. Motivating the customer to pay. So we make the phone call. If you look at the head on the left-hand side with a question mark, we begin the phone call, then we ask a question that creates some kind of a picture in their mind. And that question can create a picture of a problem, and then we can ask them another question that can create a picture of a solution in their mind. So when they can picture these problems and solutions through positive and worrisome pictures, we help them reach an emotional state. Like if somebody tells me that my son will become successful after he gets his degree, and then during my old age, while I'm old and sitting around and doing nothing, he can support me. If somebody creates that kind of picture in their mind, if it's a university saying these things to me, so I've got this positive relaxing feeling, this becomes an emotional sale. So we do the same thing in debt collection. Through these positive pictures and these worrisome, concerning pictures, we create certain emotions in their mind, and then we are able to collect through an emotional collection environment. We remind them of how they would feel with the solution. So it becomes like an emotional win for them. So, all right. Now, very quickly, I'd like to give you guys a couple of examples. These examples are actually from my own experience. When I say my own experience, it actually means that as a contact center consultant, before I conduct the actual training class, I actually walk into the call center. They give me a workstation with a headset and the call logger. Call logger is basically a place where they record all the calls. So before the training, I went to this one bank. I will not name the names. And I was listening to this person's call, and I'm considering that a bad example of a debt collection call. So here's what this person did. So let's look at this. The collector, he says, I'm calling about your credit card payment. It is overdue by 2 months already. When will you make the payment? So the customer says, I'll pay next week. So the collector says, okay, thank you very much, and hangs up the phone. Guess what? This customer obviously didn't pay. And why this customer didn't pay next week or next month is very simple. It's because this, of course, an empty promise. However, the customer pictured taking money out of their pocket and giving to them next week. So when that picture comes to the customer's mind, it's not a very pretty picture for them. It is not a picture that helps them. It doesn't motivate them to make the payment. It's not a good picture. However, now let's see if we can look at a positive example, a very solid example of a debt collector. Of course, once again, this was a bank. I also went into this courier service call center. Once again, I've named some of those names. Now, this particular collector, I listened to a few of their calls, and the dialogue that this person was using, and this was after the training. This is post-training assessment, when I was listening to their calls after the training. And so now this person was able to create pictures in these people's minds. So let's look at this. This person says, I'm calling to inform you that your account with us is now 3 months overdue, and the amount that needs to be paid this week is 1,000 ringgit. This is a bit worrisome. So I'm calling to see if everything is okay with you and your business. Okay, is somebody trying to say something? I guess not. Oh, okay. Well, Sue, I guess you could answer this question from Tracy Lee about the slides. Okay. Now, when this person starts off the call like this, they're actually creating a certain picture in the customer's mind, not a picture of them taking money out of their pocket and giving to them. Instead, they're picturing that this caller is basically saying, we are worried about you. If you look at the picture on the right-hand side, this is what we are trying the customer to picture in their mind. So this successful debt collector, this person is actually on top of their call center in terms of performance. So now, during the call, in one of the other calls, this is what this debt collector said. Check this out. According to this, okay, I understand that sometimes we have to pay. Now you have to remember that we are trying to talk to these people who've got many other bills. And we need to get these people to picture the fact that even if you have these other bills, you can still pay us. So how does this person start talking about this? I understand that sometimes we have to pay other bills that are higher priority first. Is there any other pressing expense that feels like first priority to you right now? If the customer says, yes, I have some other things I have to pay and I cannot be paying you guys right now. So we say, what if we could figure out a way for you to fulfill both the obligations? Not only pay them, you can also pay us. We just need to together have a quick discussion. When we say this, now if you look at the picture on the right-hand side, the customer is picturing their other bills and also thinking to themselves, let me listen to this person's solution, whatever solution this person is about to tell me, because maybe I will be able to pay all my debts instead of pay one and then not pay the other. So that's another picture that this person was creating. You would be surprised at the results this debt collector was creating for this courier company. Because I looked at their numbers, I think a couple of months after when I went back to their contact center. Then the same debt collector during a different call, this is what this person said. Actually, my biggest worry is that you have important packages that need to be dispatched daily. We need to ensure that your delivery process continues as forecasted. If our system blocks your account, the backed up deliveries can occupy too much space in your warehouse. Customers might start complaining. So now I'm not saying pay me. I'm not saying I'm going to block your account. What I'm saying in an assertive manner, that these things might happen because the system will automatically block your account. So what we are doing is we are creating this picture of, if you look at the bottom right hand corner, this is the picture the customer is thinking, my warehouse is going to be backed up. My customers are going to start complaining. So they start picturing that. So this gives them a little bit of a motivation to want to pay. Hang on just a moment. All right. Now, I was just looking at the chat just now. Now the same call, and by the way, guys, we are in this slide, we are actually talking about how a successful debt collector actually performs during the phone call. And you can see that the three statements that I've shown you until now are creating the three pictures on the right-hand side. Well, these are pictures that come to my head, come to my mind. Different customers, they'll be creating different pictures. However, the main aspect remains the same, that through this dialogue, we are creating these pictures. Now, this gentleman, when he was collecting, he also, in another call, this is what he said. While dealing with tough customers, 3 to 4 months, now these people are quite heavy in terms of their arrears, in other words, overdue. Another problem is, this is what this guy said, another problem is that by tomorrow, our system is scheduled to block your account and the finance department will refer your account to legal department. This can generate unnecessary documentation from our side and serious inconvenience and hassle for you. Legal letters, court summons. I suggest we think of a workable solution so that we can avoid all of these eventualities. So when we tell them this, we are still not aggressive. We are still being very soft, but letting our words do the job and the tone of our voice, a soft, happy, concerned, assertive tone. So the picture in their mind all of a sudden will become the judge saying, you must pay, or whatever the judge, the decision that the judge takes. So keeping this particular example in mind, all I can say is that a simple call with asking them to pay without understanding the customer's perspective, without understanding or creating these positive and concerning images in their minds, the percentage of collection versus the number of calls you will make will always be low. This particular company increased their collections by approximately 20%. And the only way they could do that is by those attendees of the training program who actually wanted to implement what I taught them in the training about creating these pictures. And then we want to create, and what we normally would do in the training program is to think of the picture first. What picture do we want in their mind? So we look at the picture first, and together during the training, we come up with various statements, and then together we choose the best one that will create that particular picture that we want to create in their mind. Okay, I see that somebody's circling the slide. Sue, are you sharing the slide, I guess?
No, I don't know who circled it.
Oh, somebody else has circled it. Okay. All right. A lot of people are requesting for these my slides, and definitely we will be happy to share these slides with you
Shahrukh,
guys.
the slides we will discuss about this at the end because
Right.
you have even a full day course that will actually
Exactly.
be yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, absolutely. All of this is available, but we need to go ahead and continue to talk about the rest of the things we need to show so that we can create some value for you guys in terms of how to collect this debt. And in my opinion, this is the most important slide for you for this webinar. But of course, you will have some excellent knowledge and very well prepared slides when we are conducting the actual full training session later. Okay, now moving along with these pictures. Okay, I'm going to open up the chat window. I'd like to ask you guys, what, in your opinion, have we learned from uh, this particular slide? What kind of knowledge do you feel that can help you looking at this particular slide? Simply because we have got a lot of requests from people who want these slides. So I want to know from you, how is this particular information in this slide going to help you later when you make the phone call and try to collect debt? Can somebody tell me? I'm waiting for chat responses. Normally, when I request for responses, it takes approximately a minute, and then all of a sudden they start pouring in. I will try to make pictures. Okay, Noor Saida said, I will try to make picture in their minds. Absolutely. And you know, when you attend the full training program, you don't have to worry. We will put the picture on the slide, and then together we will come up with the right words to say. A clearer picture of questions we can ask customers. Suli, with your tips, I will try to use when chasing payment. Nicholas Yu, the use of words are one of the main major part to get client picture. Absolutely. Creating the consequences due to the failure to pay. Yes, absolutely. They need to have that picture. Swatlang is, okay, it's going too fast. Now a lot of comments are coming. We need to be more tough with customers. Okay, Mr. Bird Muhammad, tough might not be the right word. I would say assertive. We need to be more assertive with the customer. And of course, yes, Vivian Ang, okay, wait, these comments are pouring in, guys. The flow of requesting debt is very important. Absolutely. During our full training session, we show a complete debt collection call flow. Put some personal caring to the customer. Tracy Lee, you are absolutely right. William Ngo, must be patient when talking to customer. Yes, absolutely. I think that looking at this slide, you guys actually are getting the point I'm trying to make. As a guide to follow up with the customer, Isma Zaini, SST, concern first, chase payment at last. Absolutely. I think you guys are definitely molding your thinking. You are definitely moving towards the right skill and capability to be able to collect. All right, folks, let's see if we can move forward now. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my chat window for now, and we move forward a little bit. Okay, here we go. Now, okay, one, Putri, this is the last one I'd like to address. Not giving up in the follow-up with client with correct manner. Okay, Natalie Chung, we have to stand to customer point of view before chasing payment. Absolutely. We have to understand their point of view. All right, folks, let's look at what we have learned from this successful caller. I really appreciate you guys' responses, because as a trainer, your responses give me the kind of feedback that helps me move forward and help, you know, impart further knowledge. So let's try to figure this out, guys. What was good about this particular debt collector that was collecting in the courier service? One of the things that this person did was he was definitely asking empathic questions. He was putting himself in the customer's shoes. He was asking him the right questions to get them to picture, help the customer feel that the caller actually cares about this customer's problem. So empathy is very important. You know, when a debt collector calls me and says, Mr. Shahrukh, 2 months already you haven't made your car payment. So I will say, okay la, I'll pay la next week la. So I'll give them this kind of reaction. But if he says, Mr. Shahrukh, your account has been quite current normally, and the system just showed that you are 2 months overdue this time. Just a bit worried about this. Is everything okay with you? Is your business okay? Is there anything I can, give you some suggestions? So when they tell me like that, I feel compelled to talk to them further, guys, because I feel that this person actually cares about me. So this is what this collector was doing. He actually asked empathic questions, and these are very important in debt collection. Then what else did this collector do? He motivated the customer to find a solution. During the phone call, this person actually motivated the customer in order to find that solution. He created positive or worrisome images in this customer's mind. He provided the customer with positive motivation, and also, okay, don't use this word, don't quote me, a little bit of a negative motivation. We can say carrot and stick both. So both pictures this person was able to create. If you remember, he created the picture with the judge, with that instrument, and then he also created the picture of that person being debt free. He's jumping up in the air. Hey, great, I'm debt free. So all of these pictures, when the customer it feels those as emotions, the customer felt motivated to pay. So definitely this collector, this is another thing that made him very successful. Then he also negotiated payment arrangements, keeping the customer's situation in mind. Like if the total payment is, let's say, 5,000 ringgit, and the customer is saying, there is no way I can pay this 5,000 ringgit right now. So does that end the phone call? Or do we create another picture in their mind that maybe they can pay other people also, be debt free on that side, and also pay us a little bit so that they can maintain our account with us. He made various offers for easier payment plans. He was negotiating. He also finally got the customer to make a solid promise instead of an empty promise. The customer felt that the collector cared about him. So these are some of the things that we gather from a solid debt collector. Then what did this person do to make him or her one of the best debt collectors? Basically, not only did he create pictures with questions and words, he also used his voice in the right manner. Now, if you notice, I'm also using my voice to tell you this. Now, I could say very simply, this person created pictures in the customer's mind, absolutely no tone. I can say he used the right voice, right tone. He switched between happy, worried, sad. I could have this monotone, but it does not create any kind of effect in the customer's mind. So I can say have an effect instead of have an effect. So when we stress on certain words and phrases during our phone conversation, we are able to stress on the importance of the need to pay, or we're able to stress on the fact that they will be very happy when they are stress-free from by being able to pay the debt. Okay, this person used the right voice pitch to generate emotions such as sense of urgency to pay. In the full session that I will be conducting soon, I will actually be providing you with examples of the right pitch to use. We will take a statement, and together we will practice how to say it right with your voice, using the right tone and the right inflection. They call it the pitch. Some people call it throwing your voice. Of course, we will be getting into that, a lot of details with this. Also, this person did not speak too loud or did not whisper. This person maintained, because I was listening to their calls in that contact center after the training. So I could not, it wasn't uncomfortable to listen to this person. He wasn't whispering, so I didn't have to try to understand what he was saying. So in terms of the voice, the volume communication, this person was perfect in terms of usage of their communication in terms of voice. This person also tried to match the customer's speed of talking, rate of speech. you know that people who talk slow actually think at the same speed rate. People who talk fast, they also think at the same speed. So our caller in the beginning of the call actually judged from the customer's speed how fast this person is talking. And then the caller adjusted his speed of talking accordingly. So in this slide, we basically have pretty much understood what actually creates the right skills and capabilities to develop or to develop ourselves as world-class debt collectors. Now, moving forward just a little bit, I want to tell you about this full day professional training schedule. I have this a full day training program coming up on May 6th. This particular program, whatever I have mentioned to you or whatever awareness that I have tried to create for you in terms of the skill of communication, listening and asking questions, in terms of the words and phrases, in terms of the creating the pictures in their minds, in terms of developing the dialogue, all of that in its expanded, more comprehensive form will be conducted on May 6th. In that program, I will actually be training you guys to, collection communication skills through the phone. I will show you how to do this active listening and let the customer know that you actually care about them. Of course, we will also show you how to use your voice, which actually means tone, pitch, volume, speed of talking. We will also get into probing skills. And I will give you an example, a few examples. We might even play a game. If there is a situation, we might even play a couple of games to understand the concept of probing. And then we will develop actual questions according to your industry. Then, of course, during that training program, we will get into some empathy. We really need to elaborate a lot on that because with more time, we will have the luxury of time to be able to really explain and understand that empathy actually helps us collect debt. If the debt collector understands my situation, even if I cannot pay 5,000, because of the fact that this person understands my situation, I will probably squeeze a few bucks out, maybe 1,000 ringgit, and tell him, here's my offer, I'll pay you this much. So the debt collector's call is at a certain level successful, simply through the empathy aspect of the phone call. And then, of course, the most important thing in this training program, I shouldn't say most important, one of the key aspects, and this is actually a deliverable that you guys will have, the actual collection call script. We will develop the script. It will be developed for you during the class so that you don't have to worry about what to say or what questions to ask. All that dialogue will actually be with you at the end of this May 6th full training session. Also, just a little bit before I sign off or maybe ask you guys for some comments, is that this training program, normally we charge 1,600 ringgit for a full day attendee, full day training program. However, because you guys have registered for this webinar, this program, you can only pay 800 ringgit and attend the full day. This is actually quite crazy, but we feel because of COVID-19, everybody's got some financial issues. And because of that reason, we are not charging any full fees nowadays. We're just being a bit understanding on that. However, if any of you decides to register today, then all you have to do is pay 399. So if you look at it, 1,600 versus 399. So it's quite a big discount if you guys feel that I was able to create a certain level of awareness for you during this webinar. You can imagine the kind of knowledge and the kind of deliverables you will actually have if you go ahead and ask me to provide all of my knowledge for you during a full training session. With this, I believe that the webinar content is complete. The training content is not complete. The webinar awareness content is complete. So I'll go ahead and open the web chat, the chat window, and let's see if you guys have any questions. or if you have any comments that you'd like to give, I'll be happy to see that. Maybe your comments and questions will help me when I, customize my presentation a little bit better when we do the actual session. So I look forward to your comments now. Waiting for your comments. Ready to go. Go ahead, start typing.
So we were contemplating when we were doing these slides. These slides is part of the training program that Shahrukh does. And he has actually given away a telescript that is a real one. And it actually costs at least no less than $10,000, right? The script. So if you want to review and let them see it first, even if they can't afford to come for the pay course, they can use this if they know how to use it. Give them the script.
Oh, you mean are you saying give my $10,000 script away?
Yeah, give the $10,000 straight away. The one that we discussed for so long and whether or not we should give, I think we should just give. Can you just flip your slides to the few slides before this?
Hang on.
Yeah. This is part of the, exactly, this is the one.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this worth the money? Of course, this has worked. Who has used this?
Yeah, this has worked. Okay, Swat Lang Ching says, so this May 6th training will be through Zoom as well. Absolutely, it will be through Zoom as well. Yes.
It's going to be a full day training, morning 3 hours, afternoon 3 hours. And what is the most important thing when you take away after this training? That's very important. Yeah, because we want to get the money, we want to get the debt collected back, no more fluff. So Shahrukh, what can you promise them?
Well, I've already made the promises according to history, according to what my clients have enjoyed in the past. So my promise, is 2 or 3 different promises. The first one will be that you will feel a lot more confidence in collecting your debt. So before you dial the number, your heart will not be racing so much because you will have everything pretty much prepared on paper or wherever you have, record those. The second promise that I will make is that you will actually experience an increase in your collections. That is what Google and Alibaba and EPF, Maxis, these Post Laju, these companies have actually provided me with feedback that their collections increased. And there's a concept, it's PTP, promise to pay. So call centers, the debt collection call centers normally have a ratio of promise to pay versus actual collections. So through the training, we were able to reduce that gap between the promise to pay and actual collections. So let's say before the training, 500 people promised to pay and 150 of them made the payment. After the training, 500 of them promised to pay and approximately 250 of them made the payment. So if you look at those numbers, we reduce that reduction of that gap, it automatically puts more money in your pocket. Okay, you indicated that, okay, hang on, I need to scroll up a little bit. I have a comment here. John Hui, you indicated that you will share some WhatsApp sentences to help us in getting debts collected from customers. Would you be sharing it via this webinar? I will be sharing those, the paragraph with my friend, my partner, Sue Boy. Sue Boy has all of your contact information. She will forward that to you.
Yeah, we will forward to you either by email, so you can have a record of it. We will send you an email, and then when you reply to it, our staff will actually send it to you. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let us know which industry you're in as well, John.
Sue, your link we cannot copy from here. Ki Lun Sue.
Yeah, we will email to them or we will text them.
Right, okay. Absolutely, we will send you that, definitely we'll send you that statement. I've made the promise and I'll definitely deliver on that for you guys.
So how much is it again? This is crazy.
What, the script?
Yeah, no, the telephone debt collection program.
Oh, the training program. Actually, the program, like I said, normally we charge 1,600 per participant. But if anybody wants to register for this program, they can pay only 800 and attend the 1 day, full day. If they register today within the next 24 hours, am I right, Sue? 24 hours, right? Within the next
exactly.
24 hours.
It's open. Yeah.
So if they register for this program within the next 24 hours, all they have to pay is 399 ringgit. So that's actually, if I look at it, 75% discount. My God, that's very good, Sue. But anyway, this program will come with a lot of serious deliverables for you guys, and I suggest you go ahead and register for this. Okay, I got 9 new messages. Hang on. Yes, please message me.
As well.
Please email me. How can we register for the 6th May program? PBSB Zitan. Okay, I think Sue, would you mind answering this question?
We will forward you the link and you can actually sign up for it. Actually, one of the very important things why you want to attend this debt collection course is to go back with a script. That is the key. Right.
Okay.
Because everybody can call, anybody can go, hello, give me, you owe me money, give me back, and all those things. If it works, then we don't need the teleskills expert, isn't it? It's the script and how you actually do it. So you have Shahrukh, the advisory here. So pour up the questions and ask and get your script ready. So that's the takeaway. For 399 for the script, and you take back at least 20% of your bad debts. I think that's you, investment.
And you guys will have me at your disposal for a whole day. Yeah. Just badger me with questions. I'll answer every single question you have.
Do you want them not to share this because CIMB is not going to be very happy about this? Because we are charging a ton. We have 290 people coming from CIMB that for call training, and we are charging them a different rate, like 50, 60 kind of thing.
Actually, see, it's not necessarily only CIMB. I mean, many clients have asked me to propose this particular training program for them, and ultimately there is a difference, between one company asking me to conduct training and maybe they got 15 to 20 people they want to attend. There's a difference there compared to if it's like a live public workshop that we have scheduled here. So
Shahrukh, we have a question on live. What did you do to EPF to teach them to collect that so well? What did you do to EPF? No wonder they're so good at calling us. They know that well.
Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay, so hang on, let me look for that. Okay, I cannot see, but anyway, Sue, would you mind because it's buried? There's so many of them. There's so many comments that can you read the EPF comment for me so I can respond to that?
That one is in Facebook. It's not here.
Oh, okay. While we are live on Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, let me tell you this. I did not do anything different for EPF or PKNS or Google or Alibaba. Nothing different. I follow the procedure in training that works. I just pretty much showed them. In the case of EPF, these are physical collectors. They actually used to go out and collect debt. So I also showed them aspects of body language. However, it's pretty much the similar content. Communication skills, the dialogue, creating pictures in people's minds. It's pretty much the same content. It works in any industry. All we need to do is develop the questions according to our own industry, develop the words and phrases according to our own industry. And in the full training session, of course, I will be with you and we will be helping you develop according to your industry, what questions, what pictures, and so on. Okay, is any other comment? Okay, people are requesting for us to email to them.
That one we will handle, our team will handle. We have 5 people at the end working on this. Look, yes. You know what, okay. Shahrukh, one last question. Tuti Imar, she actually asked the questions earlier on, but we didn't get to answer that. She says, what can we do if the customers do not pay us a big percentage of the debts, even though we know they have the money to pay and they're just not paying? I think you have answered it, but maybe you want to answer it.
Yeah, this question has been answered in a few different ways over the last 45 minutes to an hour. No matter what situation it is, these are basically, you are either 1 month in arrears, you are 2 months in arrears, maybe 3 months overdue, 4 months overdue. So we talk to them in different ways according to the number of months that they are overdue. So ultimately, if they're adamant about paying, we just simply try to create those, the tough ones. You're talking about the tough ones. So for the tough ones, we will be creating pictures in their mind about the negative consequences. The picture that we will be talking about to create in their mind would have to be the final notice picture, them walking into the courthouse picture, standing in front of the judge picture. So these are various pictures that then come into play, but these pictures we only want to create for heavy duty, tough people who just simply don't want to pay. However, our normal conversations, somebody who's only 1 month overdue, or maybe we are calling them in the second month, we create positive pictures in their mind. And this helps us keep ourselves away from being aggressive or overly assertive. Okay, there are 6 more messages. Let me see if there's anything that I need to answer.
Not so much, not so much.
There was one person who says you should charge banks more because they've got a lot of cash. Well, we don't charge according to how much cash they have. We charge according to the value our training program provides for them. So
actually this is a very good value for if we are charging in ringgit Malaysia. Usually for overseas training we charge in USD. So,
that's right.
Yeah. What are you doing in Pakistan? Yeah, it is all charging in USD. It's per person.
I'm charging. I don't want to tell you how much I'm charging to conduct online training for the Pakistan Society of Training and Development. Like in Malaysia, we have MSTD, Malaysian Society of Training and Development. So Pakistan has its own. I was born in Pakistan and I was raised until I was 18 years old. And I have, of course, I went to a school where all these elite, high-end, rich kids went. I was the only poor kid in that school. The rest of them were very rich. And all of them are now, owners of their own companies. They are, business tycoons, members of parliament, and so on. So through that, I ended up with Pakistan Society of Training and Development. And if I was to tell you how much I'm charging them, people will get a bit scared.
Okay lah, we don't tell lah. Maybe they can go to Pakistan and look for this course. All right.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You'll be paying too much.
So we are doing a good deal, huh? We are doing a good thing for the Malaysian, yeah.
Okay, folks, we've sent, I noticed that there is a poll that is out, so I guess you guys will need to answer the questions in the poll.
Yeah, that'd be
so
good.
that we have some feedback.
Yeah, appreciate your feedback. This is the first time we're doing more for the SMEs, maybe more down to earth. And let us know what your comments are and how we can improve, and whether Shahrukh is doing a good job, giving you all that he can within a short period. And you know what? We are going to have another special giveaway one more time because we are just so excited about this.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. Okay, this is requested from my staff. They wanted to do this.
Okay.
We have a new Facebook page just up because the old one has too many things. So they want to do this. We want to give you a free course for one lucky one, yeah? Free registration for the paid course. You can go for Shahrukh's course. Shahrukh's course is 1590. So it's even worth bigger. And this is how you can do it. You can win it. You can go to Hair Training Expert Facebook, like it and follow it. We have constantly updates with the contents. For example, some trainings or even some offers or some pointers and things like that to help you, encourage you every day. So like and share any of the posts and put some comments on it. The person whom shares the most, we will actually write in and call you and email to you and give you this offer. Okay? Stop share. Right. Wow.
Wow.
Shall we
Take a
like take a picture
screenshot.
together? All right. Shahrukh,
Okay.
Shahrukh.
Okay, so
So,
Sue, just give me the cue when we should go ahead and sign out.
okay, we will have to say thank you so much for people who attended this program. I hope it's of essence to you. Teledebt is not really that difficult if you don't see it in that way. When you look at Cheryl, then you know it's not difficult because he's been doing it like a piece of cake. So if you have difficulties, just think about him. Yeah, imagine how he can advise you and give you some confidence and go ahead, have a better communication on the telephone.